Let me get myself situated. It's okay, because one day I'm going to have a podcast team, and I'm not going to have to worry about this. Do you understand? Right now, it's just me and Lundy. Alright, I hope this works. If you're watching this right now, just know that I'm deeply excited. Because, London, what? We have people watching. You cannot be acting like that. Hi, friends. I'm probably so far from my mic. Hi, friends. I'm so ecstatic right now. I've, for the longest time, wanted to do a video podcast, but I honestly was just like, I don't think anyone's going to be interested in watching me. And something just sparked in my head where I was like, London, you have to lay in your bed. London, come. I'm so sorry if you hear him walking in the background. He's got anxiety. Lay in your bed, please. Hey, lay in your bed, please. Oh, lay in your bed. Come on. Lay down. Lay in your bed. Yes. Okay. Nice. Thank you. Don't touch my wine. I said don't touch my wine. He's not listening. Anyways, welcome back to another episode. Clearly, if you're watching this, something worked, and we're live and direct from my living room. And I can't even believe I have a camera set up right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to keep getting up to check it because it said that I only have 20 minutes of recording time. And I don't know if that's because my camera's kind of old and so it only can do 20 minutes at a time. But once I get to 20 minutes, I'm going to go and check. Because if I get up and this shit stops and I didn't know, I'm going to lose my everlasting mind. Yeah. So let's get into this episode. I'm so excited to have you guys here. I have wine and I also have creatine that I didn't drink today. So if you see me going back and forth, listen, we got to do what we got to do, man. Like, I needed wine because I'm just like, this is like a very new feeling to me, but I needed to chill a little bit. But then I also have to drink my creatine today. So, London, I'm going to ask you to lay down one more time. He lays everywhere but his bed. Did you hear that? He lays everywhere but his bed. Welcome. I just have to get this off my chest. I just feel, now that I have a camera set up, I feel like I really have friends here that are like listening to me, and it's super fire. Like, I feel as though you guys will be able to see, like, this will feel more personal now. You'll be able to see my emotions and my facial expressions, and that honestly really excites me because sometimes just being behind a microphone is really rough. Not just because you guys can't talk back to me, but also because I just feel like it's just my voice, which I think has been fire for this long. But I just realized that I hit 2 years officially in September 15th actually, from my podcast. And I honestly noticed like 2 days ago, and I wish that I had recorded an episode and put it out. Actually, I have to see when my other episodes came out. I might have done it and like didn't even notice. But yeah, 2 years in Sincerely Your Mental Health, which is so crazy to me. But I'm just so happy. Like, I really am. I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative. And I have to share as much gratitude as I possibly can every single time I feel it, because I firmly believe that appreciation radiates higher than anything in life. And I just need you guys to know that I'm so appreciative. When I first started my podcast, I had no idea that anyone would ever listen to me at all. It just felt like it was something I needed to do because I was really struggling with my mental health. And I even remember planning and coming up with the name. Shout out to Tyler, because I'll never forget considering making a podcast and trying to think of names and designs. I can actually see it in my head right now what one of my first designs looked like. I never ended up using it, but I remember sending them to him and just having the idea of starting a podcast. And so being here 2 years later is very crazy. And just with all the feedback that you guys have given me, I know I post a lot of screenshots of the messages that people send me, and I don't do that for any other reason besides the fact that I'm so grateful. And it literally shocks me every time I get a message that anyone allows me to know or takes the time to allow me to know that I've shifted something in you, or I've helped you, or you showing me appreciation. So I feel like anytime that I feel like I need to show gratitude, and I do it any chance that I get, because I just am so incredibly grateful. Like, there's really no other way for me to put it. So I felt as though now that we're 2 years in, I dropped a shirt a few days ago. Let's go back to that, because that was for me my like celebration. It was for like, let me put this down because I'm not even drinking it. What are you doing, Savannah? That to me was part of my celebration of 2 years, because it's something that I really wanted to do, but again, it was something I was really second guessing myself with. So dropping that shirt, I'm not even kidding. I was driving to the airport to go pick up my brother when my mom was driving, and I was in the passenger seat, and I had my headphones in. And one thing about me, if I have my headphones in, I'm on Photoshop, don't fucking talk to me. Like, just don't. So my mom's like listening to her music. I have my headphones in. I'm on Photoshop, and I was just kind of going crazy. And I remember sending screenshots of the designs to Sharif, and I was just like, how do you feel about this? Like, it wasn't something that I thought was actually going to go on a shirt. It was just me kind of trying to get that spark back, because I took a little bit of time off of Photoshop, and to think now that ended up being the shirt. So I essentially wanted to do a bunch of colors, and that's what I had made the design in, and I sent it to my family group chat, and he was like, my brother was like, ashy gray. He's like make something like black and white. And so I ended up turning the design into a black and white t-shirt, and it's my favorite one. Like, I remember posting my story, and Sharif was like, that's the one. And I was like, no, I'm so fucking gassed. I didn't think it would get the reaction that it did. I honestly told myself, I'm like, I'm going to sell 20 shirts, put it on pre-order. Whoever orders one, that's what I'll do. I didn't even think I was going to sell 20, and I ended up just selling so much more than that. And I'm so grateful. I feel like I've been smiling ear to ear. I could cry right now, because, you know, to a lot of people who just started, and if you're planning on starting something, I just want to say, go for it. I know that there's going to be a day that I look back and I'm like, oh, you were so gassed about this many orders, and God is going to put me in a position for it to be multiplied. But that's why I say I have to show gratitude for where I am now, because this is the beginning of something new for me. And I wouldn't be starting this new beginning if I didn't start my podcast 2 years ago, and if you guys didn't support me as much as you do. So I'm just really grateful. If you would like a t-shirt, pre-order is going to end on Friday. You can find the link to it in my bio, or go to sincerelyyourmentalhealth.com. It's the first of many. I don't think I'm going to drop this design again, but every time I get an order and I see it pop on my phone and I see your guys' names, like, it honestly puts into perspective people that listen to my podcast that I don't get to connect with, or that haven't reached out to me. The amount of times that people will reach out to me and say, like, it took me a lot of courage to message you, and woo, like, I just know that there's probably some people who don't message me. And so just being able to see all the names that I did, it really kind of gave me a moment where I'm like, these are probably listeners that I've never gotten to connect with. So that's really cool. And I'm just so grateful. If you'd like a shirt, sincerelymentalhealth.com, links in the bio. Let's get into this episode. Also, I just want to talk about that really quick. I randomly got into Photoshop maybe like 6 months ago, and I honestly feel like I had a creative block for a while. So that's another thing that made this shirt so crazy, because I was just doing anything. Someone had asked me, they're like, what's the process of you making the shirt? Couldn't tell you. I honestly don't even know if I could repeat it. I now just I literally sit on Photoshop with my music on, and I just do whatever and hope that something comes out. There's more things that I've scrapped than I've done anything with at all. As far as whether I've shared it on my Instagram story, or it's been something like a logo that I've made for someone or used, I've just realized that I don't know. I don't even know how my brain works. Like, sometimes I tell myself, and I do designs for people. If you've messaged me about a design and I've done work for you, I really appreciate you and I'm grateful for it. But sometimes I ask myself, like, I don't know if I'm made to be doing designs for others as much as I am made to be doing designs for myself. And I think putting out this shirt really showed me that, my purpose behind being able to, or just having it put on my heart to do graphic design. I just really enjoy making things realistic and just being able to create. So I really do look forward to what is coming in the future. I do have another shirt already made that I'm going to drop, but yeah, it's just crazy, because I honestly never thought in a million years I would be like a Photoshop nerd, but I fucking love that shit. It pisses me off. If Photoshop doesn't piss you off, you're not working hard enough with it. I promise you. But yeah, I just rambled for like 20 minutes. Oh, speaking of 20 minutes, let me make sure my camera is still recording. Please hold. London, don't move. Stay. Probably not going to listen to me. Are we still recording? Yeah. 10 minutes, but my freaking camera battery is going to die. I might have to do an intermission and come back. Listen, this is a trial and error, so I'm not even mad at it. Not even mad at it. But let me get some questions out of the way that I had gotten on my story, because honestly, when I decided I was going to record today, London, please go lay down. I didn't really have any topics or anything that I was thinking of talking about. I just wanted to record. Um, Apologies. I had to be a mom for a second because he has anxiety like up the ass right now. I thought I was supposed to be the emotional support. I mean, he was supposed to be the emotional support dog, and I'm 1000% the emotional support human. He's a geeker. But anyways, I recorded this not really thinking about what I was gonna record. I just wanted to record, so I put a post up earlier and I asked for questions, and I got a lot. So we're gonna start with. This is actually crazy because I kind of just talked about this, but someone had asked, what was the switch or motivated you when you instantly decided to start a podcast? I guess I didn't really talk about it, but I decided to start a podcast like 2 years ago, and I feel as though this was probably like either right after COVID. Was it during COVID? No, I think it was like, it might have been during COVID. And I was staying at my dad's bunker house with my best friend at the time because I just was really going through it. And my dad lived on a ranch. And anytime I was away at the guest house, I just felt a lot of clarity because I'm literally in the middle of nowhere on a ranch surrounded by grass and trees. And it just brought me a lot of clarity rather than being at my apartment that I was living at the time. So I remember staying there for a few with my best friend at the time, and I kept going back and forth with her, and I was like, I think I'm going to start a podcast. I remember I was struggling with journaling. I was just struggling with my mental health in general, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself. But I remember something switching in me and saying, like, I have such a hard time sitting down and writing. What if I start a podcast? And that honestly just I guess my motivation behind it was just wanting to get better so bad and not going back to a place where I knew that I had been before, and just wanting to make a difference in the mental health world because I struggled with my mental health for so long. Depression, anxiety, ADHD, panic attacks, like I struggled with so much of it for so long and felt so alone. Like I felt like I didn't have anyone around me who was really struggling with those things. And granted, I didn't want anyone around me to be struggling with those things. Like I knew how it felt. So I also had this feeling of I'm grateful that no one around me knows what this feels like, but it kind of sucks because I don't have anyone to talk about it with, or so it felt. And I just remember at that time I couldn't afford to go to therapy. I didn't have insurance. And I just felt so lost. Like I was really struggling. So I decided my journal is going to be my podcast. And I remember telling myself, whatever I would write down, I'm just going to sit and I'm going to talk about. And hopefully, I've said it from the beginning, I aspire to inspire, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4 people or 400 or 500 people or 5,000 people, whatever the amount that God wants me to reach. I just always wanted to be able to be raw and vulnerable, and told myself this is what I would treat my journal like. I'm going to put my feelings into words. It was so much easier for me to speak, and no matter what, I'm just going to be authentic, but always to the point where I was comfortable. And I never talk about things I'm not ready to talk about, but there are a lot of things that sometimes I feel like I'm not ready to talk about, but then when I talk about them, I feel a lot better after. And so there's a lot of moments of vulnerability that I have that you guys don't even know in the moment I'm struggling with something, and finally being able to talk about it or say it out loud. It is scary sometimes. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to show your ass to people. And I choose to do that constantly every time I do record an episode, but there's never a moment that I don't feel happy that I did it. And I used to always say before that I wouldn't go back and listen to my episodes, but a lot of times I do now because I've genuinely grown a lot and I see my growth. But I think that a lot of times now I go back and I I listen to my episodes because I'm able to learn things from myself, I guess, or how I can potentially obviously be better for next episodes. But also I literally listen to myself in awe of the things that I never thought that I would want to talk about before or be able to bring myself to talk about. So that my motivation behind starting my podcast was really, one, just wanting to get better, but two, also just wanting people to know that they're not alone with a lot of the emotions and things that they were feeling. I say it all the time. I even get nervous, like when I'm talking right now, I am so in my head at this very moment, like, are you making sense? Or, is anyone going to understand what you're saying? Is this going to resonate with anyone? Like, and then I'm like, Savannah, shut the fuck up. Like, shut up. But that's literally my brain. Like, that's what goes on in my brain. And so those were the moments that I had that I felt like no one's going to want to listen to you. You're not going to be of value. But I know for a fact there's people out there that are like me and they think like me, their brains work like me. And whether it's one person or two people that watch it and feel that way, if I can make you feel less alone, that is genuinely what I'm here for. So that was my motivation behind it, because a lot of times I, like growing up, I just felt very alone in the kind of person that I was and the things that I struggled with. And so I just want to be able to help someone not feel that way. And I would want it to be millions and millions of people if that was, what God wants for me. But for now, I'm grateful with the community that I have. I don't even want to call it little, because it doesn't feel little. It feels very big to me because it's overwhelming for my heart. But each and every one of you, there's so many people that I talk to on a daily basis I've never ever met, but I found that you found me on TikTok, or you found me on Instagram, or you found me because of my podcast. And it really does mean the world to me, because I firmly believe that people don't have to be right there next to you in order to be your friend. Ooh, sorry. But it just has reminded me that I can make an impact from here across the world. And that really excites me, and it drives me, and it motivates me. So yeah, that was my motivation. I'm going to check my camera again. I'm not going to lie to you, because it's making me a little nervy. London, please don't get up, because I just can't right now. This is the most ghetto shit ever. Like, this is seriously so ghetto. I feel so ghetto. But you know what? One day it's going to be fine. I'm going to have I don't know if I ever want to have a podcasting team, but I'm definitely going to have a podcast set up, someone at least that could start the fucking camera, or a better camera. I'm grateful for what I have. Okay, I'm grateful for what I have. I'm not trying to be a brat, because truthfully, I never even had a camera until this year. I was doing everything I ever in life on my phone. So I'm very grateful. But when we're up, we're gonna get a setup that it's not this hard. But right now we're a little ghetto, and it's okay. It's not a big deal. That's also how it goes for my gym videos. I have to record my audio on my phone, and then I record my videos on my camera, and then I take my phone and I airdrop every cinematic video to my laptop, and I extract the sounds and I match them up to the video clips. So sometimes, like, listen, Cub Scout honor, and you don't have to take this the wrong way, but sometimes I'm like, if people knew what I was going through right now, maybe they would appreciate me a little more. Just saying. And when I say that, I mean Instagram. And, like, I'm looking dead in the camera. That's no shade. That's straight up. People on Instagram do not support the way that people on TikTok do. I don't care. I've stopped posting my reels on Instagram, because it's just, like, people in the fucking shadows like this watching you. And I'm just like, bro, I don't know if you're here to support me, or if you're just, like, vibing out, you just want to see, but, like, why? If I don't follow people that I don't care to see, or if I'm not supporting, like, I literally thought about this today, because I'll watch stories and people will post their reels on their story, and I'll click it, I'll go to it, I'll like it. Sometimes I don't even watch it. I'm not gonna lie to you. They posted a post, I'm clicking, I'm going to it, and in my head I'm just like, I understand, not everyone can be like you, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, woe is me, like, this is how I am. No, but genuinely, that's how I am, because it's free. And so when I see that people just, like, don't interact with any of my shit, I'm like, why are you following me? Like, not in a disrespectful way. Like, you don't have to like my stuff, but at the end of the day, like, protect your peace at least. Like, unfollow me. Are you kidding? It's just annoying. TikTok, man, if you follow me on Instagram because of TikTok, you're exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you're ride or die. You came from TikTok to my Instagram, and you support me on both of them. Locked in. Anyways, I'm going to take an intermission, because my camera's about to die, and I don't want that. So, y'all, I'll be back. I told you, it's going to be a little ghetto right now, but don't worry. We're going to work on it. Who's texting me? Oh, my sister. Okay. BRB, guys. I'm back. That's so embarrassing. But honestly, I watched some of the clip back, and it looked good. So hopefully it sounds good. And hopefully I can get it to match up correctly. But I don't know how much recording time I have. I'm going to actually... Hold on. This is so chaotic. I'm so sorry. So I can only record for 20 minutes. Just in general. Not because I don't have space. So that's good. But I already recorded for 20 minutes. And this will be another 20 minutes. And 40 minutes would be it. Okay, we're gonna draw the line there for this one today, because I just am kind of excited to sit down and see how this looks. But anyways, let's get into the rest of the questions that we had. I think I left off on talking about, like, what motivated me to get into my podcast, and And I feel like for the first half of this, that was pretty good because like I said, I made 2 years. So I really wanted to talk about just my podcast and show gratitude to you guys. But let's get into some other questions I have. The next question was, what in life made you how you are today as a person and personality wise? I mean, I think my personality just was always like this. I definitely think that I got more comfortable openly being myself. I used to be really shy, but when life made you who you are today, honestly, I know this might sound corny, but genuinely all my hard days, like all the things that I struggled with that now I look back and when I'm referring to the moments in time where I was depressed, everything that I was going through that I allowed to have that much of an effect on me is exactly what made me who I am today. I honestly will have random moments where I'm sitting and I'm thinking like, damn, if this would have happened to me a few years ago, I would react like this. There was really times where I was inflicting harm on myself, whether it was literally, like physically inflicting harm on myself, not eating, and I had an eating disorder. There were so many ways in which I was beating myself down because I was so sad and I couldn't handle the things that were happening to me because I felt like they were happening to me and for me, where now I have that mindset of everything that's happening in my life is happening for me, whether it feels good or it doesn't feel good. It's God bringing me closer to the version of who I'm supposed to be, and I just never thought like that before. So honestly, moving to Texas really changed a lot for me. And I firmly believe it has a lot to do with the person that I am now because I've learned so much about myself. I learned so much about the old version of me, all the versions of me that I was before, and why I was struggling with the things that I was struggling with. So, yeah, I'm going to say moving to Texas for sure. But just all my hardships, I appreciate them so much now. Like, I would not be who I am without all of my really hard days. And things that were happening to me that I felt like were happening to me and not for me. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. My next question is, do you hit your protein intake every day? P.S. You're a whole ass vibe. Thank you. No, I don't. I will say I definitely eat so much more than I used to. Like, even just today, I'm on my 4th meal of the day. And I'm not going to lie, when I'm done recording this, I'm probably going to go get something to eat because I'm starving right now. I have not been tracking my protein the way that I used to because honestly right now I just feel like I'm in a phase where I'm going to the gym, I'm making my content, I'm focusing on just being healthier, and I feel as though when I focus too much on the numbers, I start losing sight of just everything. So I definitely feel like I'm going to start tracking them at some point just because I want to be able to get into the notion of seeing what the amount of protein intake that I need looks like. But right now I would definitely say I know for a fact there's a lot of days that I don't hit my protein intake because if I wake up with anxiety, it's really hard for me to even start the day eating breakfast. I'll wake up, drink a cup of coffee, and I'm not eating till like 1 or 12 or 1, which is like my very bad days. But then there's days today, like today, where I'm waking up and I'm eating breakfast, lunch, another lunch, dinner, and I'm about to eat another dinner. But I will say one thing about me, I am completing meals, which is something that I really struggled with doing before. I can eat now. I really can. So I know when I'm having a bad day mentally because my appetite is not good. But yeah, I definitely don't hit my protein intake every single day. I definitely think I hit it more now than I did in the past. But like I said, I'm not tracking anything right now. I'm just trying to enjoy my food and lifting and stuff like that. So I don't, but I'll eventually get back to it. But I will recommend, like, if that is something that you're doing, like trying to hit your protein intake every day, try and get your protein. I mean, get it in any way that you can. But right now I'm focusing more on getting my protein in solid foods rather than when I was overcoming an eating disorder and I was getting it more so in liquids and protein shakes and stuff like that. Now I'm really trying to get my protein in solid foods, which is why I think I've seen a lot of growth in myself, even when I feel like, oh, I'm not hitting my protein every day, but I'm still growing, which makes me happy, and that's all that matters to me. I think because now I'm eating a lot more of solid foods rather than getting like liquids and like protein shakes and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's a whole different type of bag. Where was I at? Okay, next question. What do your tattoos mean to you? I was talking to my sister about this earlier today, and I talk about this with people all the time. Not every single one of my tattoos has a meaning. A lot of them do, but some of them don't. Like, I have like Friday the 13th tattoos, but even behind those, there is some kind of meaning. Like, when I started getting Friday the 13th tattoos, it's because my favorite number is 13. I love Halloween. But I was really getting it because the 13th. So like my first ever Friday the 13th tattoo is on the back of my leg, and it's like this. And it's a skull hand, which I had gotten because the 2 down stands for February, and then the 3 up stands for the 3rd, which is my birthday, February 3rd. But I got that on Friday the 13th, but it still has meaning. And then another Friday the 13th, I got a Texas symbol. And I had moved to Texas. And then another one, I just got the number 13 inside of the Texas symbol, which, you know what I'm saying? Like, they all still do have meaning. I was at Salad and Go today. I went through the drive-thru with my sister. We had met each other there. If you've never been to Texas, Salad and Go is like a little salad place, but they only have a drive-thru. So we met up for lunch, but we just like went through the drive-thrus, got our food, and like parked up and ate. But when I went through the drive-thru, the guy pointed out the one on the side of my neck here, and he was like, "That's dope. I really love that." And I was like, "Thank you." I was like, "You can't even see the whole thing, but it's like my favorite piece ever that I have right now." I was like, "But don't ask me what it means." I was like, a lot of people always ask me that, and it doesn't have a meaning to me. It's just art. And he was like, I never really ask people that because I have tattoos where it's the same thing. You just get them to get them. And I've always been like that. I just love art. I love tattoos. So a lot of my tattoos have meaning, just not. And when I say that, I feel as though because when I thought about getting it, I was thinking about something that it could represent, but then I'm just like, I just go and get it. So this tattoo, essentially, when I had gotten it, I don't know if you guys know the meaning behind the Medusa tattoo, but when I had gotten this one, I, in my mind, wanted something to represent being, okay, I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but when I was younger, this is going to be kind of heavy, sorry, it's just coming out of nowhere, but I have to talk about it. When I was younger, I was sexually assaulted, and I just remember seeing people getting Medusa tattoos and not really knowing what it meant, and then I learned the meaning behind it, and I kind of felt like I wanted something to represent that part of my life, but not in a negative way, as like this was like something that I'm happy that happened, obviously, but it was a really big factor in my life, and it affected me, and it still does till this day. But I just wanted something to remind me that, one, I'm not what happened to me, and two, it sucks to say because I'm not saying this in the sense of like something, I don't want to word this like insensitively. This is also just my personal feelings. I just wanted something that represented it in a way to remind me of how strong I am, and that I'm not what happened to me, and I had no control over that. There's a lot of emotions that went into it. I just didn't want to get a Medusa head. So this means something to me, and a lot of times I just believe that I tell people that it's art because I don't really want to explain it. But essentially in the moment when I had gotten it, it was just because I just thought it was so beautiful. And it's so crazy because there's sometimes where I'll get tattoos and in the moment I'm just like, I just want this for some reason. And then after, it starts meaning a lot more to me than it did when I got it. And then I have tattoos that just mean a lot to me, like right out the gate. And I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it makes perfect sense to me because obviously I know how I think, and that's just an experience that I've had with my tattoos. But so I can't really say none of them, some of them don't mean anything to me. I just think that some of them don't mean as much to me as others, and so I look at them as if they're like meaningless, and I just got them for whatever reason. But now that I think about it, like, I'll be honest, I have this tattoo on my arm that I want to get covered up so bad. So when you ask me that question, like, oh, do all your tattoos mean something to you? And when I say no, I think that it's like these ones that I think about because I want to get them covered up because they don't mean as much as my other ones, but I can't say they don't mean anything. So I'm going to revert my answer and say that they all do mean something to me. They just, in different levels, okay? But I love all my tattoos, and I need to get a new one soon because I haven't gotten one since I think I got Blaze's name, and that was a while ago. But I've always get requests to do a tattoo tour. I just feel like I need someone watching the camera to make sure that all the like tattoos are in frame because I don't have the little thing that flips up, so I'm nervous that I'm going to record it and be like talking about a tattoo and you guys can't even see it. So yeah, that will be coming soon though. I'm going to have my mom help me with that. or maybe Sharif when he comes down in a few weeks, because we can put him to use. Let me check my camera, make sure I'm recording. Hold on. Intermission before the next question. London, don't fucking look at me. He keeps looking at me like, girl, you told me to look at him. We have 8 minutes on this clip. Maybe I'll try and answer one more question. I have a lot more though. How do you know you found the right church for you? This is a great question. I think I talked about this a little bit in my last episode, but I'm happy to talk about it again. And I'll try and make this one short and sweet. For me, I knew that I found the right church because when I walked in there, I didn't feel how I felt when I walked into all the other churches that I had been to. I walked into Social Dallas. I'm literally not kidding you. When you walk in there, the energy is absolutely insane. It is insane. I just remember walking in through, like, you walk in and it's like, and every day, this is every day, no matter what location we're at. And it's like an alley of just people who serve at the church. Signs, music, just good morning, smiles. And it's honestly the best feeling. It's so incredibly welcoming. You walk in and it's almost just like they know you already. And I'll just never forget the first service that I went to. And every service since then just keeps reaffirming and reassuring that this is the church for me. I love my pastors, Robert and Taylor Madu. Like, they're amazing. If you can't go to Social Dallas, you can still be a part of the family online. They stream every single service, but also at the same time, they do put all of his sermons on Spotify. I don't know if it's on Apple Podcasts, but I know he's on Spotify. And I just knew, like, I know it sounds cheesy, but it was really the feeling. Like, right when I walked in, the energy was amazing. After the first sermon, I just feel like myself. Like, when I said on my last podcast that I be on my knees, crying, hands in the air, not like, and that's not every service, but I feel comfortable doing that. And I've never been in a church where I felt so comfortable praising God, which is so crazy to say out loud. But this church feels like home, and it just feels like family. Like, I genuinely believe that church is one of those things that you will just know when it's the right place for you to be. And I firmly believe that. So shout out to Social Dallas. 10 out of 10. So good. Last week's service was really fire. Usually there's 2 sessions, which is 9:30 and 11:30, but we had them both together last week as like one big family. 10 out of 10. So good. I really do, like, I genuinely always look forward to the next service. It's the best feeling ever. So that's definitely how I know the right church. Like, it was just in my heart. How long have you been sculpting yourself into a beast at the gym? I want to say that my fitness journey started about like 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago. And it's crazy because I had a moment where I was reflecting the other day, and I'm like, I remember when I started my fitness journey and I would watch TikToks, and girls would be like, not like directly like this, but like, look at my fucking wagon. Like, they got a wagon, and they're like, yeah, it took 2 years. And I was like, fuck. I was like, damn, like 2 years? I gotta wait 2 years to have some ass. And now I'm like 2 years, 3 years in, and we're still working on her. But I definitely am so much bigger than I was before. When I started my fitness journey, I was 106 pounds, and now I fluctuate between like 125, 130. So I honestly, I don't want to say I never thought I would get there. There were definitely moments in time where I thought, okay, I would never get there. I can't even say that, because I definitely had moments where I doubted myself for sure. But I'm definitely so much, like, I look different now than I used to. I actually look at myself and like my fucking self. But yeah, it's crazy because I think back and I'm like, damn, when I first started, I thought 2 years is going to feel insane, but it honestly flew by. So I look forward to where, like, now I'm in the mindset where I look forward to where I'm going to be in 2 years, even though I know it takes a lot of work. And I also just want to say a disclaimer: it doesn't take 2 years to build an ass. Not for everybody. Some people can do that shit in a few months, honestly, if you're like really dedicated. So I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea saying like, oh my god, it's gonna take me 3 fucking years. Not true for everybody, just true for me, babes. And that's because I slacked a lot of times. But yeah, 2 years, 2 to 3 years in the gym. Let me check my recording. Can't time. Because I feel like, how much time do we have left? This is so ghetto. I just appreciate you guys for bearing with me. But I am going to restart this so that we can have just a 20 minutes for me to end this through. Hold on. Alrighty. This might be a little ghetto, but you know what? I know I keep saying that because it just feels ghetto. I almost put my wine. But it's okay. We all have to start somewhere. Am I right, boys and girls? All right. Let me see. Let me just do this one last question. Okay. One more. I'll do one more, and then we'll close this out because I'm honestly hungry and I really am thinking about canes right now. Okay. Reshaping your mental for the big move and moments of growth during the adjustment. I had read this question earlier when he sent it and thought about it. I don't know if I even had the time to reshape my mind before I left because it was such a sudden decision. I think that I'm still going through moments of like reshaping my mind right now. I actually just like texted one of my friends today and told him like I'm having a rough day mentally because I feel like I don't know, did I make the right decision? Did I make the like, I took a really big risk and, leaving my job and all this stuff. And some days it just feels really hard, even though I feel really blessed and really grateful for a lot of things. Just as a human being, life be life and sometimes. So I think that right now I'm still like dealing with the mental part of moving, and moments of growth for me during the adjustment is that genuinely the moments where I sit back and I am having either hard days or really good days. Those are the moments of growth, but obviously inevitably the hard moments are my moments of growth, the moments where I'm second guessing myself, the moments where I like twice today I was driving in the car. My fucking phone has not been connecting to my car, so I've been driving in silence. And I've been using those moments just to talk to God. And as I was driving back from my mom's house today, I'm like, I just started talking to God and saying to him so many things. But it's those moments that I have the most growth, I think, because it's the moments that I allow myself to have silence and sit with myself. I took a really big risk coming here, and I can't stop saying that to myself. Sometimes, like, being a creative and being someone who wants to do something out of the norm of, like, literally what anyone in your family has ever done, it's really hard. And if there's anyone listening to me that has made a choice like that and is making a choice like that or thinking about making a choice like that, I just want you to understand, like, it's not always going to be easy at all. I honestly can't even think of a time where it's ever been easy. But I would just continue to thank God for the amount of support and the love that I have, and just my mom, my family, just everyone who supports me, my friends, because I just have to, like, those are the things that I can use every day to remind myself that even when it feels really hard, it's not for no reason. I know that God has put things on my heart for a reason, especially like even when I dropped the shirt, God put that on my heart, and then the outcome that I got was just confirmation, and I had to like really catch myself because I had not took a moment to sit with God and thank him for that. And so I've taken a few moments to just be like, thank you so much. And just literally giving him so much glory because, man, that's a whole different bag. But I feel as though this is like, I don't know why this feels like a hard question for me to answer. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. But it really is like what I said about not being able to prepare myself before I left. I think that's why I'm struggling to answer this, because leading up to making the decision of moving, for me, it was just a very vast decision. Even moving to Texas in general, for me, was a vast decision. I had decided that I was going to move and left within a month. And I think that for me, I don't really think about things too much after until I do them. And that might sound really bad, but there's a lot of moments where I just feel like God is telling me to do something. Like God was telling me to move, and not even just literally, but figuratively. Like he was like, you need to do something different in your life. And he put it on my heart to come here. And so when I did, I just did it so quickly that I didn't really start feeling it until after. And not always negative, like a lot of positives. But even today, I just had one of those days where life was just lifing. And I was thinking about it a lot. And I kept asking myself, did I make the right decision? And there wasn't enough things for me to sit and tell myself no that like made me believe that I didn't make the right decision. Like I asked myself that, and I'm just like, Savannah, you're happier than you've been in a very long time, regardless of what you feel like your life feels like or looks like. So yeah, I don't know. My biggest moments of growth are just when I actually do allow myself to sit with myself and think about it, which is really hard to do a lot of the times because we just want to be avoidant. I have a lot of moments where I'm super avoidant with my feelings. I say this all the time, but I will learn, like, I will know what something is doing for me, like on paper, but I have such a hard time actually feeling the emotions. And the only way out is in. So the only way that you're ever going to successfully learn something from what you're feeling is when you allow yourself to feel it. And I struggle with that. I've struggled with that lately. I before used to be the type of person that just felt everything and didn't learn anything from it. I just would be like a big ass ball of fucking sadness and crying and tears and just fucking depression because I felt like everything was happening to me. Where now I rarely cry, and sometimes I miss it because I'm just like, damn, Serena, like, you're not, like, are you good? Are you human? Like, are you doing okay? So I think that's where I've like struggled a little bit, but yeah. I literally will have moments where I'm like, Serena, please shut the fuck up. I'm talking, like, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking to myself in my head because I'm like, I don't even know if I'm making sense, Serena, right now. Like, please shut the fuck up. I'm not going to answer any more questions because I don't want my camera to get shut off, or like, this is all new for me. And I don't want to have to edit a 3-hour long podcast for my first time making a video. But I just want to say, again, thank you to everyone who bought a shirt. Thank you to everyone who's listening. This was like a little trial run. This is definitely, I feel like, not as like deep or intricate or like vulnerable as my last episodes. Which there's no comparison, but I just wanted to try something new. I honestly didn't expect it to be this long. I honestly thought it was gonna be a lot shorter than this. But yeah, I just want to like sit down and edit this. I'm super excited. We can consider this like kind of like a throwaway, like just a trial, like us as besties trying a new thing. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, thank you again to everyone who's listening, everyone who's watching. Unless that would be so embarrassing if I don't put out a video and I just put out the audio to this. If you're not like if this doesn't ever come out as a video, that is so embarrassing. Please DM me and make fun of me. I'm not even kidding. Like, laugh at me. I don't even care. I deserve it. But I'm about to go get some Cane's, possibly. I wish Chick-fil-A was open right now. Why hasn't my boyfriend called me? I'm just kidding. I don't have a boyfriend, but just kidding. All right. That's it. We're getting out of here. London, say goodbye to our friends. He said goodnight. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this doesn't suck. If it does, don't tell me. I'm just kidding. I'll see you guys in the next episode. I love you so much. Love you so bad. London, come say bye to your friends. Come here. Say bye, friends. Bye, friends. I love you. You're the stinkiest, buttest boy. All right, bye, y'all. Love you so much.